Welcome back.
Hello, Mr. Ganipula.
Okay.
Ganipula Mahate. Mauna.
Honday.
Manere.
Honday.
Manding ino.
Hindi ngino. Yeah.
California Indila Apahoa.
Yeah. You wanted to. You look happy. Santos ay pagi. You look happy.
What that ne?
That's good.
Well, Adisa, can you hand me that little mic on top of it? Okay, friends, we'll go ahead and begin with reciting the Namo Tassa and the three refuges for those who would like to join. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. So welcome, friends, to this Wednesday evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. So after another 2-week absence, we're having this meeting again, and glad you could all join. So, as you all know, I had been out in California for 2 weeks, conducting some meditation programs there in some different places. I first did a weekend sort of retreat, non-residential retreat at the Camarillo Buddhist Center in Camarillo, California, which is located about 10 miles south of Ventura. And about 20 miles north of Los Angeles. And I was near the beach. And so you might have seen on the newsletter that I sent out, we went out to the beach about some miles from the temple and did meditation at the sunset, at least with just a small group from that retreat. And had a lot of my old students who participated, as well as some new people that came also. And then after that weekend retreat, I had a 2-day little camping with some old friends of mine from Riverside, some high school friends that I've kept in contact with all this years. And every time I go to California, we go to some spot, Joshua Tree, or some other places, 2 or 3 hours away from Los Angeles, and just have a camping and hiking wherever it is, and some meditation. And after that, I conducted a weekend retreat. Well, I also went and spent a day or 2 days down in San Diego at a meditation center, little meditation center called Sumana, which is in Center Valley. Some old, a friend of mine, a person from Taiwan, has set up a small meditation center. So he always invites me to come there to, just rest for a day or two in between my programs. And then the last 2 days, I also spent time with my brother and met my new sort of twin nieces that I hadn't seen. Now they're a year old. But anyway, so did a few things like that. And then I conducted 2 one-day retreats, 2 different Sri Lankan temples, one in Moreno Valley and one in Pasadena, not Pasadena, Covina, yeah, and conducted or recorded a Dhamma talk and an interview on a Buddhist TV station that they have at that center. Anyway, now I'm back here now, and so that's just just a short review of my recent travel. But I'm happy to be back here now with the springtime arriving, although it's still a little cool, it seems. So this evening I asked people to come up with some questions they might have, Dhamma questions, to begin this this portion of our session. So I'd like to invite, and if you have any questions, you can raise the yellow hand. And no one wrote in a particular question, but you can go ahead and ask a question either by the yellow hand or just sort of speaking out.
Bhante,
Yeah, I hear a voice, but I don't see who it is. Who is that?
it's me, Bhante. It's Suzanne.
Oh, Suzanne.
Yeah.
I don't see
came
your
in-
name there, but
Can you see?
I see your name, but it's okay. I don't have all the pictures available there. Oh, now I
Bhante,
see. Yes, now I see.
I'm sorry I came in late. Did you share with the group parts of your travel?
Yeah, I just did that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So maybe I don't want to go over it again.
No.
But you can watch
no.
the recording of it, afterward. It'll be up,
Okay.
on the YouTube.
Okay.
On the YouTube live, I guess. Isn't that right, Prashant?
Yes, Bhante. That's correct.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
That's okay. So anybody have any Dhamma questions?
Yeah, if nobody else is having it, then Bhante, I have a question, maybe reflection. So, like I was going through my house and I found like old CDs, and then I found out a lot of pictures from my early time when there was not like Google Photos and backups were not there. Like it was old times when you develop the film and they will put it on the film and as well as printed out and as well as in the CDs. So I found all of those CDs and then I started going through them and I just remembered like that I've come to this country and my parents have not been able to visit that much often. But I saw like there are so many good memories I had with my parents during those years. So it was really delightful and I was just reflecting that yeah, I always felt like, I didn't have that much time with them and I didn't take them around much. uh, so so there was always like a kind of guilty feeling. So looking at those pictures made me feel a little bit happy. So the question is this, like, what is skillful way of going back in time, looking at all those things, and what is a skillful way of recollecting your past memories, or what is the advice for the practitioner would be?
Well, I mean, I've written my autobiography, right? And it has a lot of photos in it. So I had to also go back, 40 or 50 years and, selected some of those, photos that had, a lot of fond memories. And, that's part of our life, right? So everything we've done in our life and the people we've had, especially with parents and family and others, that's helped to make us what we are. Of course, life goes on and we're, sort of, the Buddha advises not to get too attached to families and so on, but it doesn't mean that we can't have memories of those times. Even the Buddha, remembered so many past lifetimes, even the food he ate, 23 lifetimes ago, and so on. So, but the past is the past, and now our life is in the present moment, and we can think about things that we want to do in the future, but knowing that we can't relive the past, and we have pleasant memories, and it doesn't hurt to remember them once in a while. Even the Buddha, he remembered, when he was 2 years old, when he was sitting under the tree at his father's plowing ceremony. And he remembered himself getting into a jhana. And then, 28 years later, when he was practicing his ascetic life, or I don't know the exact number of years, but anyway, when he was practicing his ascetic life, and he's thinking about, that time that he was meditating. And it spurred him on to then saying, well, he experienced the joy and happiness. He was in like the jhana when he was a 2-year-old baby. So goes the story, or his memory. And he reflected back, and because the ascetics in those days were saying, oh, don't indulge in pleasant feelings, and don't be afraid of painful feelings. But the Buddha, or he saw people getting sensual pleasures, and then using the senses to get their happiness through food and sounds, music, and all these other sensual pleasures. And the Buddha remembered back that pleasure of being in the first or second jhana. And so it spurred him on to go back to that level, because, he had been practicing austerities and so on. So he thought, this pleasure that comes through jhana, that's an innocent pleasure. It's a natural joy and happiness that comes from the deeper mind. So, you shouldn't be afraid of that. And so he went back and he, regained those jhanas, and, used that, of course, to develop insight. So anyway, I'm just saying that to show that, our memories, if they help to inspire us to continue our practice and so on, and to get motivation by that. Also to have gratitude, like to have gratitude for our parents and other people who've helped us even when we were younger. To reflect on that those are wholesome kind of thoughts. So that's the way that we can use those past experiences, but know that we cannot relive the past experiences, and that everybody has their own karma. And we wish all those people that we knew from our younger years, or wherever they might be in samsara, we can send them our metta. So that's that would be my sort of reflection on that.
Thank you, Bhante. Bhante, if there is no other question, there is one follow-up question. So now next week I'm visiting, and my aunt, she's 92. She never had her own children, but when I was in India, she just showered her love to me, and so I felt obliged to go and see her. Probably she's in a little bit kind of a little ill health, and so I know you mentioned about that. Maybe reflecting on the memories with her where we had a skillful time, like where we had a good time. That would be good. And what else can someone do who is like probably, in near future, he's declining and may pass away around that particular person?
Well, especially if it was a person who, had, like a relative who had been very kind to you over the years. And we know that, our relatives are always, remembering their other relatives, and especially ones who've gone off to foreign lands and so on. So it's good to visit them, and if it brings them happiness, especially when they were, near the end of their life, to go, to visit them and to just to be with them, and just to, because it would bring them joy and happiness, especially if all their other relatives have gone. And like, I think that I went and visited my mother. Tried to visit her every year in the last 10 years of her life too, and that brought her a lot of happiness to to see me too, because being his son, right? So that's sort of the gratitude and the importance of having gratitude for those who have helped you in your life, and so to sort of repay that, and if it's within your means to do that, then it's a good thing.
Thank
I
you.
see a yellow hand waving, and so Dayan, you have a question?
Yes, Bhante. Is everything happening according to a karma? Because I'm asking now this tragedy, the beach collapse, those construction people died at the same time. They came from a different country. And is that sometimes this is accidents happen and has nothing to do with karma? It can be even like a bigger disaster, like train accident, 100, 200 people die all in one instance. Is that all had the same karma and then they happen to be at the same time? How can we explain karma into that thing?
Well, karma is one of the unfathomable. That means one of the kind of questions that cannot really be adequately answered in all of its details, especially in terms of why does something happen to somebody, as you mentioned, like that, and other people, live. But what a lot of it, there could be a direct connection, but in terms of accidents, I like to, take the middle path in explaining that it's because we were born. And because we are born, we're basically subjected to dying in any of the millions of possible ways that there are, through accidents, murder, or dying from old age, or dying when you're young, and to try to figure out exactly the reason for each of that is not always possible, and especially with accidents like that, where some people die and some people don't. So, but the fact that we were born, that means we have the karma for getting any possible type of disease, any type of possible pain and suffering, the way that we die, and also to be ready for death, that when it comes, we don't know when death will come, but to have our mind, free from as much greed, hatred, and delusion as we can, so that when that time comes, hope we can die without, too much regret. So, it's not easy to answer those questions, but yes, by and large, there's a cause for everything, but we can't always figure out exactly why. Their time has come, your time will come at some point, and everybody's time will come at some point, whether it's dying tragically like that, or dying in a long, prolonged sickness and illness and pain, or, so many types of circumstances. And that's the mystery of life. That's the big mystery. Life is not certain, death isn't certain, but it's time, place, and how we die is is unknown. So that's why it's, to contemplate that and, not try to figure out the reason why, exactly why people die and when. So, Suzanne, do you have a question? I see a yellow hand by your name there.
I do, Bhante. I don't know if my formulation of this question will be real clear, but I'll give it a try. As human beings, we have the chalaces, the defilements. Chalaces, is that the right pronunciation?
Kilesa.
Chalasa. Yeah. And it's part of the way the mind is, But people who like are stream enterers or once returners or those different stages of enlightenment, they don't have the kilesa the way we might. And I wonder if is it because like the stream enterer person or the once returner person has burned it off because of their practice? Is that what happens to the kalasis? For those people, it's burned off.
Yes, but it's temporarily suppressed by, of course, attaining jhana and meditation, but it's burned off through those four stages of enlightenment or liberation, as you just mentioned. But so the Sotapanna only burns off the klesas of, personality, belief, attachment to rites and rituals, and doubts. But they still you can have greed and hatred to a certain extent, and various emotions, jealousy, envy, and so on. But those emotions wouldn't cause them to break any of the major precepts that would cause them suffering in a lower realm. And but only in the further stages of the once returning, never returning, then those klesas connected with greed and hatred and so on are burned off. So yes, they're burned off, but only through those stages of developing wisdom. And
so, Bhante, is it that they're just mindful and they just kind of let it go, or is it that the kalasis just is finished?
No, they burn them out by wisdom.
Wisdom.
The light of wisdom is like a laser beam that burns the roots of those, but it's also because they're practicing sila and they're practicing other aspects of the Noble Eightfold Path, but which allow them to then have those breakthroughs to those levels of mental liberation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, actually, there's a question in the chat that is asking, what was the retreat topic when I was in California? Well, normally when people ask me, what's the topic of the retreat, I like to say Dhamma, because everyone wants a specific topic, but so anyway, the topics I normally cover are the ones that I feel that people most need to hear over and over, and that's about the mind and the nature of the mind. And, so the topic is basically it's mindfulness, the four foundations of mindfulness, and how to develop awareness and how to become more grounded and centered in the present moment, as I mentioned in all of my sort of guided meditations, and using the breathing and the body as the anchor of the mind to the present moment, so that we can gain concentration and we can then develop that kind of insight into impermanence and no self that we were just talking about, to eventually realize those stages of the purifying the mind of greed, hatred, and delusion. So anyway, the topic is basically centered around that theme.
Bhante.
Oh, there's a question that came up, somebody here that's in the hall. So what is your question in the back, Adisa?
Yes. My question is, when a person becomes a Sotapanna, is the experience, as I've seen, to my knowledge, a person, when they become a Sotapanna, there's a glimpse of the Dhamma. Is this experience some sort of understanding or some kind of mental phenomena, like something that happens that you see, or is it a combination of both?
I don't know. Could people out there hear that question? Everybody could hear that question. It was about the experience of, let's say, realizing the stage of the Sotapanna, entering the stream. What is that experience? Well, that is, it's defined as realization of the Four Noble Truths. That the Four Noble Truths are sort of crystallized in that moment, but it's basically the experience of the dissolution of the sense of self through either contemplating impermanence or suffering or no self itself. But it's that experience when you have the mind makes a total paradigm shift from dualistic consciousness to experience the glimpse of the unborn, the transcendent awareness, or no self, let's say. But people might experience it in different ways and then try to explain it in different ways, because for most people it only lasts a very brief moment. It's just like a flash of a laser beam that burns those first three fetters, and it causes a change in you. If it doesn't change your life in a fairly dramatic way, then you probably haven't had that experience. So that's what I would say about it. People who have that experience are gonna talk about that experience in their own way, because it will be different for each person, but that will be probably the underlying kind of experience. It was just a very powerful moment that you understood something you hadn't understood before. You may not be able to verbalize it, but it has a strong impact on you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay.
Bhante.
Yes. Frank, what's your question?
Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
All right. The present moment, how large is that? And does it have boundaries? And I've found in my own, well, not my own, but the Buddhist own, that you can see the past where it's not in the past, is in the moment, the present moment. And then you say, well, what does that mean? It's like, let's say, for example, that I see my father and he's showing me how to use a particular tool when I was, or painting the wall, when I was like 6 years old or whatever. And he was there. He was in the present moment. Or, because it wasn't my, emergence of, any kind of, reason, but he was there in the present moment, through.
Well, that's I would say I wouldn't say that's an experience of the present moment. It's an image that's arising in your mind. It's a memory, sure, that's arising in the present moment, but it would vanish real quickly. When I talk about being grounded in the present moment, it's a state of very expanded awareness in which the mind is not fixing on any particular object. And even the sense of the self, the I, has basically faded away. And it's just a state of awareness. And things are maybe coming and going through the senses, but the mind is not, grasping or identifying with any of them. So, if you see an image and it's, okay, that image of your father or any other image that may be in your mind is, holding on to that. Okay, that's a state of maybe concentration, but not the flow of awareness. That's how I would.
No, it was the present moment. Yes, it was in the present moment. And
yeah, anything that arises is in the present moment. Even a thought of the past is a thought arising in the present moment. But only the mind may hold on to that and want to be holding on to that past memory and thinking about it or trying to hold it. That would be more like, concentration, not the flow of awareness, not the what I call present moment awareness.
I don't see it that way, but thank you.
People will see it in different ways.
For chastising me because I don't need it. All right.
Okay. Okay, friends, any other questions? Otherwise, we'll get started with our meditation practice. If anybody has any final question, feel free to ask. But anyway, to come back to that question about what was the topic of the retreat, I already mentioned that. But, the practices that we did was basically, starting with, doing some stretches and breathing as we do each week here in this program as well, but then sitting down for sitting meditation, then guiding them, mindfully transitioning from the sitting position to stretching out the legs and then standing up, but doing that very, slowly and mindfully, trying to keep the mind in the present moment rather than the mind thinking in the future. Stand up, oh yes, quickly. Your mind is in the future, it wants to stand up, but but staying in the present moment. But first you have to stretch your leg out, then you have to adjust your hand, and you have to gradually push yourself up, and that's many present moments that are continually flowing by. And so that's the training that people need to practice that, because that's one of the most valuable and powerful ways of being able to keep your attention more centered in the present moment, rather than this idea of the future, to get someplace in the future, and you don't become aware of the present moment of the body. And so going into standing and then walking, coming back and do some mindful exercises of turning around, turning, and using your arm and head, just giving that experience of how you can keep your mind using the body to keep it centered in the present moment. Because to me, that's the most valuable thing that people can learn, because that's really, where it's going to be the most valuable thing, even in your daily life, but it's something that has to be practiced over and over. Again, using the body as the anchor to the present moment, and being mindful of your movements.
Anicca, it has a middle to it, and I'll tell you right now, it shows you the future of what's happening now, what that present moment is. But it's pretty interesting. It's in the middle. Usually it just disappears, but you catch it if you're more trained. I think in a very, very small part of time where there is no time. And it's pretty cool. I mean, even maybe I'm just
Well, there's a lot of cool things that you can see and come up in meditation, but it doesn't mean that that's necessarily the end goal or the the present moment.
in Nietzsche, in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, and Nietzsche is there's a rising and then there's passing away. Awareness is in the middle, is not clinging to that. Yes. Anyway, this is one last question that somebody wrote. If one does not achieve stream entry, is there a possibility of ending up in the woeful states of existence? What's the best way to escape future bad existences without achieving stream entry? None. If you want to follow the traditional textual things, that having that entering the stream where the mind has destroyed those first three fetters, that is the only sort of guarantee that one wouldn't have a woeful existence. Now that's taking the traditional Theravada interpretation of that. So that's why the Buddha always said that if nothing else, the effort to at least attain that entering the stream before one dies, that your life wouldn't be wasted. Now, it doesn't mean that if you don't, you're wasting your life, no. But even if we don't attain that state of stream entry, whatever good qualities you cultivate and whatever levels of mindfulness and concentration you cultivate, it won't be lost, and that you will most likely be able to come back to a position in the next life where in that life you would be able to make further progress. Anyway, that's about all I can say about that. Okay, friends, so let's take a short break and then come back in a couple minutes to do some deep breathing and some stretches before sitting for the meditation. Okay, we'll see you back in a few minutes.
Sadhu, sadhu.
So, can everybody hear me out there? Can people hear me out there over the mic?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so just try to stand straight. Just relax your arms at the sides. Relax the shoulders. Just gently close your eyes. Try to feel your eyes resting in the sockets. You feel your head balanced on top. Try to mentally feel the outline of the standing body, the head on top, the arms at the sides, the feet pressing the floor. Then begin some deep, slow breathing. Take 2 or 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest, holding the air in the lungs for 2 seconds. And slowly breathing out. Let's take a few more deep, slow breaths like that, cultivating this basic mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to combine this breathing with these movements. Doing the movement while breathing in, holding that position for 2 seconds. Returning to the starting point on the out breath. Repeating each one 3 times. The whole time, keep the mind focused, feeling the body, sensations generated by the movement, letting go of your thoughts, the past and the future, focus on the present moment in the body. So on the next in-breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock the fingers, stretch the head back, straighten your arms, stretch upwards, lift the back of the hand. And on the out breath, release your fingers, the out breath, arms back to the side. Feel the sensations in your arms and fingers. Again, in breath, the arms up, interlock the fingers, stretch up, bend back a little bit. Feel the sensations with the arch of the spine. Out breath, release the fingers, arms back to the sides. Once more, in. And hold that upward stretch longer, bend back a little more. Feel the sensation. Release the fingers, out breath, arms back to the sides. Close the eyes. Feel the increased body sensations. Clothing touching the outer skin. Sensations under the skin. Subtle pulsation. Try to feel the outline of the standing body, the mind's eye. Remember the present moment of standing, present moment, raw sensations of the present moment. Letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Keep sensations of standing body in front of the awareness. On the next in breath, lift up on the toes while raising the arms over the head in this way, facing the hands toward each other, and stretch up. The out breath, come back down. Use the in breath to help lift up the body. Stretch up. Out. Once more in. Stretch. Out. Close the eyes. Feel the outline of the body, the head on top, arms at the sides, clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor. Steady or all of those sensations, create the idea of the standing body, the perception, consciousness, present moment. Constantly changing. Letting your thoughts come and go in the background. Next we'll do side bending. On the next in breath, raise both arms up. Keep your hands and fingers, arms straight. On the out breath, bend over your right side as far as you comfortably can. Keep the arms, hands parallel to each other like railroad track. In breath, lift up. Then to the left side, out breath. In. Keep alternating sides with the breathing, out breath. In breath, up. Out. In. Once more to each side, out breath. In. Out. In. The out breath, lower both arms, close the eyes, feeling the body, feel that outline of the body, head on top, arms at the sides, feet pressing the floor, clothing touching the skin. Remembering standing. Watch the standing body and looking in a full-length mirror. Feel the sensations of the head and hand, clothing. More sensations you can notice. It's time for your mind to get lost. Your thoughts, past and future. Feel the subtle pulsation. Next, we'll do the knee bending or the squatting position. On the next in-breath, you can lift up on the toes, raise the arms up front for balance. On the out-breath, bend the knees, lower down, balancing on the balls of the feet. Come down as far as we can, balancing on the balls of the feet. On the in-breath, feel the muscles of the legs pushing the body up. Out-breath. In. Out. Hold the squatting position a little longer, feel the sensation. In-breath. Out-breath, relax. Feel the increased heartbeat, pulsations. Hold that outline of the body in the mind's eye. Different sensations. Letting go of your thoughts. Okay, now spread the feet apart, about 3 feet. Wider the better. Hold the arms out at the sides. We'll do twisting from right to left. Breathe in. The out breath, twist to the right. Keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. In breath, back to the front. Let your feet turn with the body and twist to the other side, out breath. In breath. Alternating sides with the breathing, out breath. Once more to each side. Come back to the front, lower the arms, relax. Close the eyes, feel each foot pressing the floor. Don't let the mind jump to the future. Each foot pressing the floor, hands touching the sides, clothing touching the skin, head balanced on top, eyes in the socket. This body exactly as it is, here and now. Present moment, body centered awareness. Now place the hands together at the chest. Breathe in, hands over the head. The out breath, hands to the chest and lower down. Just keep the back upright. Feel the stretch in the hips and knees. The in breath, come all the way back up. Hands over the head. The out breath. Come down a little more. In. Out. In. The out breath, arms back to the sides. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Feel subtle sensations. Now we'll do the forward and backward bending, so that the hands touch the front of your legs. Breathe in. In the out breath, bend forward, keep your head lifted up, looking out straight ahead, let your hands come to the knees the first time. Keep the legs straight, or flatten the spine. In breath, lift up. Move the hands around under the buttocks for support. On the out breath, let the head go back. Breathe out, bend backwards. Not too far the first time. Look at the ceiling. The arch of the spine. In breath, carefully lift up. In the out breath, second time, let the hands come below your knees. Still keep the head lifted up. Feel the extra stretch in the back of the legs. In breath, lift up. And once again, the back bend on the out breath. Careful, be careful. Try to bend back a little more. In breath. On the third time, let the hands come down as far as you can towards your feet. And hold on to your ankles or feet, and legs. Hold that position longer. Feel the stretch in the back of the legs. Feel the spine, the bones in the lower spine stretch out. Lift up on the in-breath. Once more, the back bend. Just be careful. Out breath. In breath. On the out breath, relax your shoulders and arms at the sides. Close the eyes. Feel all those sensations through the outline of the body. Head on top, arms at the sides, legs spread apart, feet pressing the floor. Present moment, body centered awareness. All those sensations is coming and going. Present moment. Even your thoughts coming and going to the back of the mind without sticking on them. You can now bring the legs and feet closer back together. Do one last exercise, the head turning from right to left. In the in-breath, turn the head to the right. Feel a stiff neck, just be careful. Feel a twist in the neck. In the out-breath, turn all the way back to the left, and let go over the left shoulder. In-breath to the right. Out-breath left. Once more. On the in-breath, let the head stop in the center. Feel the outline of the standing body. Try to feel or imagine you're standing on a vibrating machine, feeling all those vibrations, soles of the feet up to the top of the head. Breathing body is a natural resting spot for our consciousness. Same feeling that you had in the womb, or came out of the womb. Feeling whole vibrating body. Okay, so now let's mindfully come back to our sitting position as we're ready for the sitting awareness. Now get comfortable in your sitting posture. Align your spine and the back of your head in a straight line. Try to establish the natural inward curve of the lower lumbar vertebrae and this natural inward curve. Help support the weight of the upper body. You balance your head on top. Keep the chin lifted up level with the floor. Just gently close the eyes. Just feel the eyes in the sockets. Feel the skin stretched over the front of the face. Just feel the head balanced on top of the neck. Try to feel the whole outline of the body in the mind's eye. The sense of the head on top, arms at the sides, hands touching together, buttocks, feet pressing the floor, the clothing touching the skin. Just remember sitting. Sort of hold that outline of the sitting body in the mind's eye. And begin some deep, slow breathing again, like we did during the yoga. Sort of take 2 or 3 seconds to expand the abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Holding the air in for 2 seconds and slowly breathing out. Feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. Just take several deep, slow breaths like that, cultivating this basic mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to count the breaths from 1 to 10. See if you can make it 10 breaths without the mind either going to sleep or getting lost in thoughts. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with your breathing and concentration. With the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. With the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out of the lung. And the next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In 3. Out 3. In 4. Out 4. In 5. Out 5. In 6. Out 6. In 7. Out 7. In 8. Out 8. In 9. Out 9. In 10. Out 10. Now discontinue the counting. Let your breathing return to its uncontrolled, shorter, irregular rhythm. But continue to feel it, to watch it, to observe it. The residual expanding and contracting sensations in the middle of the body. Just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. You feel it know it by feeling it. And knowing is the present moment awareness. Just try to tune in to the 4 phases of each breath cycle. Expanding in breath and the brief pause. The contracting out breath and the brief pause. Just over and over and over again. Try to feel the sensations where the clothing is rubbing against the skin of the stomach, rib cage, or chest. As it expands and contracts, producing those subtle sensations. Present moment awareness to help stay focused. You can make these brief mental reminders of in sitting, out sitting. The pauses between the breaths, feel the outline of the sitting body. In sitting, out sitting. You still have a lot of wandering thoughts. You can try counting your breaths from 1 to 10 again by yourself. See if you can make it to 10 without the mind getting lost in the past or future thoughts, or distracted by pain. Try to be like a scientist looking down through a microscope, observing an experiment of breathing. The in-breath begins and ends, a brief pause. The out-breath begins and ends, a brief pause, another in-breath. It's this breathing that keeps this body alive, bringing in oxygen. The heart pumps it out to feed the cells of the body with oxygenated blood. If you can kind of visualize or think like that, it will help you to stay concentrated. Just letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Just keep the sensations, the knowing of the breathing body in the front of the awareness. In sitting, out, sitting, that ongoing connection to the present moment. This breathing body is the natural connection to the natural present moment awareness. And try to notice how each breath is different, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. Sometimes you feel the breathing more in the abdomen or stomach area. Sometimes you feel it in the rib cage or upper chest. It's always changing. The mind gets carried away in thoughts, recognize it as thinking. Gently let go of the thoughts, take a deep, slow breath, bring the mind back into the body, recentered in the breathing body. In, sitting, out, sitting. With each out breath, allowing the body and mind to relax more and more into the present moment, the flow of the present moment. Breathing going on in the center of the body, but other sensations coming and going in and around and through the breathing body. Sounds coming and going in the background. Thoughts coming and going through the back of the mind. Just noticing more subtler detailed sensation. Five aggregates of the mind coming and body coming and going. The flow of impermanence. Without letting the mind stick on any particular sensations or thought. From time to time, take a few deep, slow breaths. Re-energize the awareness. Keep the mind awake, centered in the body, present moment. Breathing process coming and going, other sensations in the body coming and going, the heartbeat, prickly sensation, pulse of blood, itchy, scratchy sensation, the life process of the body, its natural flow of change. The flow and the change of our thoughts, feelings, perceptions in the back of the mind. Being alert for urges, thoughts trying to stick in the mind. In sitting, out, sitting. So many different sensations come and go, pleasant sensations, painful sensations. Sounds come and go. Thoughts, memories, urges come and go. These are all just a constant flow of change and impermanence through the body and mind, through the space of concentrated awareness. without the mind sticking or chasing after any particular sensations, thoughts, ideas. Being grounded, flowing in the flow of awareness from moment to moment, allows for the experience of the ego to fade away, sense of the self simply made up of thoughts of the past and the future, clinging on to images or ideas of the past or future, create the feeling of ourself. The mind is floating from moment to moment, wave of impermanence, sense of self has nothing to stand on. It begins fading away like an ice cube melting in a bowl of water. You experience that dissolution of the dualistic ego consciousness. That is the way leading to entering the stream, present moment awareness. Now let us spend the last few minutes of this meditation period cultivating, radiating out thoughts of metta, friendliness, kindness, best wishes to ourselves and all other beings. We're going to just keep observing your body and mind sitting there. Again, take some deep, slow breaths. You breathe in, hold the air in the lungs a few seconds. Just to imagine that oxygenated blood being like metta going through your whole body, mind system, healing life force energy, bathing the cells of the body with peaceful, soothing energy. On the out breath, relaxing into the present moment. Just cultivate this train of thought to yourselves. May I be well, peaceful, and wise. May I be free from excessive attachment and greed, anger and hatred, jealousy, envy, fear, and ignorance. May I be free from the pains and sufferings of body and mind brought about by such unskillful thought, speech, and action. May I also have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. May I continue to deepen my understanding of the Dhamma in the practice of meditation to help free the mind from confusion and suffering. May I be well, peaceful, and wise. You'll try to keep in touch with each out breath, or if you can feel your heart beating with each out breath, our heartbeat, sending these thought waves of metta further outward. Include your parents, family members, relatives, good friends, all the people you've known from childhood to the present, in schools or workplaces. With each out breath or heartbeat, just imagine these waves of metta going further outward, across the fields, valleys, through the towns and cities, across the whole state, the whole country, across the oceans, to all the continents, to surround the whole earth. Cloud of metta vibrations, with the idea that may all living beings, wherever they might be, whether living near or far away, visible or invisible, weak or the strong, rich or the poor, famous or the obscure, may all living beings be well, happy, and peaceful, free from greed, hatred, fear, and ignorance, free from self-created pains and sufferings of body and mind due to their unskillful thought, speech, and actions, and from the karmic interactions with others. And may all beings have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. May all beings be able to hear the teachings of the Dhamma, to learn and practice meditation, to help free the minds from confusion and suffering. May all beings be well, peaceful, and wise. May all beings be well, peaceful, and wise. It's like a mantra reverberating throughout space. Well, peaceful, and wise. Dukkha pata jani dukkha, bhaya pata jani bhaya, sukha pata jani sukha, hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. In this way, may all beings live with mindfulness and wisdom. Thus spoke the Buddha. Now I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly. We do the chanting on a long out breath. Feel those vibrations in the body and mind. So take a deep breath. Sadhu. Breathe. Sadhu. Breathe. Sadhu. Now mindfully place your hands at the edge of the knees. Take one more deep breath. Stretch the head back. Pull the hands on the knees. Arch the spine. Lift the head up on an in-breath. On the out-breath, press the chin to the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebrae. And lift the chin up level on an in-breath. And relax on the out-breath. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends, this brings our evening Dhamma discussion and meditation to an end. Don't forget, awareness should really never end. It's always there if you just pay attention to it. Especially try to practice the M&Ms during the week. Stop every hour for 1 minute. Take a couple of deep, slow breaths. Bring your mind to the present moment, letting go of the past and the future. The body is the natural anchor for the mind to the present moment. Okay, so wish you all a pleasant week. Be well, be safe, be mindful, be wise. Perhaps see you again next week.
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante. Thank you,
Bhante.
everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante.
Good night.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.
May all
Thank you,
Good night,
Bhante.
everyone.
um,
Thank you, Bhante.
obstacle hinder you.